The most terrifying piece of evidence tonight comes to us from a deeply unsettling recording inside what appears to be an isolated residence. The atmosphere is immediately oppressive. A long, narrow corridor stretches out into the darkness, lined with old carpets and heavy doors. The individual filming is clearly on edge, moving cautiously as if they already know they are not alone. Environments like this often hold residual energy, spaces where silence feels less like peace and more like a warning. The camera peers into the gloom, picking up nothing but shadows at first. But what happens next will make you reconsider walking down a dark hallway ever again. Watch closely as the darkness begins to shift. A pale figure wearing a long gown emerges from the absolute dark, staring directly at the lens. Some viewers suggest this is a residual manifestation tied to the property's history, but watch carefully because the entity is not finished. The figure suddenly drops to the floor and rushes the camera at an unnatural speed. It is a completely terrifying escalation. Some viewers believe an aggressive response like this points to a territorial entity, specifically because of the hostile crawling movement that defies basic human mechanics. Others argue it could simply be a staged encounter, a well-orchestrated performance by someone living in the home. Skeptics also point out that the lighting and camera shake could hide practical effects or a simple costume. However, the sheer panic in the cameraman's retreat feels painfully authentic. If this was a coordinated act, it was executed flawlessly in near pitch darkness. When an unseen force occupies your home and demands you leave, the rational response is exactly what we just witnessed: absolute terror. Encounters of this magnitude leave a permanent mark on the psyche, forcing us to question what actually resides in the empty corners of our homes. What would your reaction be if something charged at you from the void? Let me know your thoughts and theories down in the comments below. Our next piece of footage takes us to an empty property under construction in the dead of night. Construction sites are notoriously quiet, isolated spaces where sounds carry and shadows stretch. The person recording this video was simply documenting the exterior, speaking casually to a friend, completely unaware of the unnerving presence lingering just above them. As the camera pans toward the unfinished upper floor, the atmosphere immediately shifts. The darkness inside the hollow window frames seems unnaturally deep, creating a perfect hiding spot for something that does not want to be disturbed. Keep your eyes on the upper window as the light sweeps across the concrete walls.
Desde que llegué a la casa le dije a Gabriela que había alguien ahí. Chucho se fue a asomar, no. Y se ve bien puto raro, mira. Tiene una pinche jeta, Tiene los ojos brillosos.
A terrifying, pale face with distinctly glowing eyes is clearly visible staring down from the empty window frame. Some viewers believe this is an elemental or demonic manifestation, specifically because of the luminous quality of the eyes and the unnatural stillness of the figure. Others argue it could simply be a trespasser wearing a mask to scare off curious onlookers. Skeptics also point out that reflective materials on a prop could easily bounce the flashlight's beam back at the lens, creating that eerie glowing effect. Nevertheless, discovering someone or something silently observing you from an abandoned structure is undeniably chilling. The sheer isolation of the location amplifies the dread, leaving the cameraman with a deeply unsettling realization that they were the ones being watched all along. It forces us to wonder how many unseen eyes follow us from the darkness when we think we are entirely alone. What do you think was hiding inside that unfinished house? A malicious prank or a genuine supernatural entity? Drop your theories in the comments. This next recording showcases an aggressive, escalating situation inside a private home. The homeowner documents what can only be described as a chaotic poltergeist infestation. He explains that the activity has been non-stop, leaving him in a state of constant exhaustion and fear. The environment feels incredibly tense, with random objects scattered across the floor, a clear sign of prior disturbances. As he moves from room to room, the heavy silence is thick with anticipation. There is an unpredictable energy here, the kind that makes you want to look over your shoulder constantly. Pay close attention to the furniture in the background as the investigation begins.
Guys, so it's been very horrible. I have been experiencing some non-stop shit. You gotta be kidding me. What the shit? What the is that sound? What the Did I know they not just move? I know that did not just move, y'all. Shit!
The dark rocking chair suddenly shifts backward with considerable force. Some viewers believe this proves an invisible entity is occupying the space. But the chaos does not end here. Prepare yourselves for an even more violent reaction.
Move, y'all. Shit! Oh, shit! In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, I ask every demon to leave my house immediately. Immediately. I want every demon to leave this house immediately.
The heavy wooden door violently slams shut entirely on its own. Some viewers believe a powerful poltergeist is lashing out, specifically because of the sheer physical force required to slam a door that hard. Others argue the homeowner might be utilizing hidden strings or strong drafts to fabricate the entire haunting for social media clout. Skeptics also point out that the erratic camera movements conveniently hide areas where accomplices could be manipulating the environment. Even so, living in a space where the very walls seem to rebel against you is an agonizing experience. The constant loud noises and aggressive physical interactions create a psychological pressure cooker, slowly breaking down the occupant's sense of safety. True poltergeist cases are renowned for this exact type of relentless, chaotic energy that refuses to be ignored. It makes you wonder how long someone can endure such an environment before completely losing their grip on reality. Is this a masterful illusion or a genuine demonic attachment? I would love to hear your analysis in the comment section. Those were just the first 3 terrifying encounters of the night. From rushing shadow figures to glowing eyes in abandoned windows and violent poltergeist activity, the evidence is certainly mounting. If you are enjoying Pale Playback, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss an investigation. We release new evidence every single week. Now, steel yourselves because the next pieces of footage might just keep you awake tonight. We move now to a dark, unfinished attic, a space naturally prone to settling noises and creeping shadows. The homeowner is investigating after hearing strange sounds radiating from the ceiling above his living space. Crawl spaces and attics are often considered liminal zones, isolated areas that remain untouched for decades, making them perfect conduits for unseen energy. Armed with only a flashlight, the man carefully navigates the exposed wooden beams. The absolute stillness of the attic is shattered by something that completely defies logic. There are no drafts up here, no open windows, and certainly no reason for anyone else to be present. Listen very carefully to the audio captured in this next segment.
Shit. Oh my God. Shit. Damn it. Hearing voices up here again. Yo. There's like a little kid laughing. Surely you heard that. Oh man, this is shit.
The distinct, unmistakable sound of a child laughing echoes through the desolate attic. Some viewers believe a residual spirit of a young child is trapped within the home, specifically because the laughter sounds innocent yet entirely misplaced in such a hostile environment. Others argue auditory pareidolia could be at play, where the brain interprets settling wood or distant outside noises as familiar human sounds. Skeptics also point out that an audio track could easily be layered over the video during editing to create a viral sensation. However, the raw, unfiltered panic in the homeowner's voice suggests genuine surprise. The idea of something mimicking a child to draw you deeper into the darkness is a classic and deeply disturbing paranormal trope. It completely preys on our natural instinct to protect the innocent. Would you have stayed to investigate the source of the laughter, or would you have fled immediately? Tell us your verdict in the comments. This next clip brings us into a seemingly ordinary empty classroom. Schools and universities are often hotbeds for residual energy, absorbing the intense emotions and daily stress of hundreds of students over the years. The person recording notices that a specific door is refusing to budge despite being unlocked. The stark fluorescent lighting illuminates the sterile environment, making the creeping sense of dread feel entirely out of place. There is no logical reason for the heavy wooden door to be jammed, and yet an immense resistance can be felt from the other side. Watch closely as the individual attempts to force their way through the stuck doorway.
Hindi ko alam kung magsisend to, pero kanina pa ako nandito. Walang pintong bumubukas at may topakata tong phone ko. Pag tinatry ko siyang buksan, yung mga pinto, hindi naman siya nakalock, pero ayaw niyang bumukas. Eto, tignan niyo. Parang may humihila sa kabilang dulo. Please.
An unseen force actively pulls against the handle, keeping the door firmly shut from the inside. Some viewers believe an intelligent entity is asserting territorial dominance over the room, specifically because the resistance feels active rather than just a swollen frame or broken lock. Others argue a draft or negative air pressure system within the building could create a vacuum effect, temporarily sealing the door tight. Skeptics also point out that an accomplice could simply be holding the handle on the other side, out of the camera's view, but the eerie feeling of someone or something silently holding the door against you in an otherwise abandoned wing is deeply unsettling. It transforms a mundane educational setting into a claustrophobic trap. We are left wondering what exactly was waiting in the dark on the other side of that glass panel. Let me know your stance on this classroom mystery down in the comments. For our next analysis, we review a short but baffling clip from a cafe's internal security system. Closed-circuit cameras often capture the subtle anomalies we miss during our daily routines. The dining area is completely devoid of customers, and the staff are out of frame. The lighting is steady, and there are no signs of a break-in or physical disturbance. Yet, in the sterile quiet of the shop, an object decides to relocate itself across the floor with eerie precision. Keep a close watch on the area directly beneath the serving counter. A small white object glides smoothly across the tiled floor, seemingly propelled by an invisible hand. Some viewers believe a lingering spirit is interacting with the physical environment, specifically because the object's trajectory is too perfectly straight and deliberate for a random fall. Others argue a mouse or small rodent could be dragging the item from beneath the counter, obscured by the camera's low resolution and angle. Skeptics also point out that a slanted floor and a smooth surface could cause an accidentally dropped item to slide surprisingly far. While it might seem harmless, objects moving on their own volition challenge our fundamental understanding of physics and reality. It is these quiet, subtle moments of paranormal activity that often prove the most authentic, lacking the dramatic flair of a staged hoax. What is your theory on this sliding anomaly? Leave a comment below. Our final piece of individual footage originates from an abandoned clinic, a location deeply saturated with memories of distress and suffering. The individual filming is wandering through the sterile white rooms, documenting the eerie emptiness. Medical facilities are infamous for their lingering supernatural residue, often trapping the energy of those who experienced immense pain within their walls. The camera sweeps across the empty countertops and reflective surfaces, highlighting the absolute isolation. But as the lens catches the mirror's reflection, something subtle yet horrifying betrays the emptiness of the room. Keep your focus strictly on the mirror.
Sí, quiero ver. No les entiendo, perdón. ¿Querés ver? Sí, quiero ver. ¿Querés ver? Sí, quiero ver.
A fleeting shadow appears in the reflection, moving independently of the person filming. Some viewers believe shadow entities frequently use mirrors as portals or observation points, specifically because the reflection shows movement where there is none in the physical space. Others argue that the awkward camera angle and the cameraman's own shifting silhouette are creating an optical illusion within the reflective glass. Skeptics also point out that digital artifacting in low-light conditions can cause blurry, unnatural shapes to form briefly. Nonetheless, mirrors have long been feared in paranormal circles as gateways to the unknown. Catching a glimpse of something staring back at you that shouldn't be there is a primal, deep-seated fear. It makes you reconsider every time you look into a mirror late at night. Did this explorer capture a true shadow person, or just a trick of the lighting? Let's discuss it in the comments. That concludes our forensic investigation into the unknown for tonight. We have analyzed rushing apparitions, spectral faces, violent poltergeists, and the subtle anomalies that exist just out of sight. The line between reality and the supernatural is often much thinner than we are comfortable admitting. Whether these recordings are clever manipulations, natural misunderstandings, or genuine glimpses into an unseen realm, I will leave entirely up to you. The evidence has been presented. Thank you for joining us on Pale Playback. Do not forget to comment your favorite theories down below and stay vigilant.